Welcome in, boys. Wilson time, week 10. Special guest tonight, the cleanest man in the world.
Hello, friends.
Hi, Cleaner.
Hi, Quinn.
Good to have you on.
We got Dizzle back. We got our ones and twos back.
What's up, motherfucker? Dirty Dinah back in here to serve you up a sloppy.
It's the first time with a guest that the whole squad has been on.
It is.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
Well,
Dylan was gone that first time, and then Diz, you weren't here last week,
Dude.
so yeah.
We're in the quad box right now, red zone.
Quad box.
Whoa,
Oh,
Scotty,
yeah.
be proud.
Get into the witching hour.
Yeah. Yeah, we are in the witching hour.
Yeah, we start all puckering up real quick.
So speaking of the witching hour, though, I mean, week 10. How you guys feeling? I feel great. Got a dub. Got a trade done with Dirty over there. Never thought it would happen.
Dirty.
I'm devastated. My team's falling apart quicker than I could put it back together. Dak Prescott's a motherfucker. And yeah, now we're trading away to get some draft cash. Moving
I'm
on.
feeling pretty medium. I'm not loving where I'm at, not hating where I'm at.
What's your biggest?
I'm kind of cozy where I'm at. I suppose.
Hold
What's
on,
your-
Red. Hold on, Red. We'll save that for when the interview comes for Clean here.
All right.
But yeah, no, Cleaner, you are in an interesting spot to say the least. I would this year again. It always feels like it's super tight, but I mean, at this point, got a couple of stragglers hanging around the sewer down there. But we'll see, because it's kind of like a weird year with Brian leaving and everything. And he's like obviously going all in as he should. Takes one less person off the market who wants to actually have some cash. We just saw that trade go down between him and COD, player for player. I think that, for him, it's going to be that way. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So let's hop into the recap, though. Dirty, you want to pull us up on the ones and twos?
Yeah, let's do it. It's good to be back. Feels like home.
Red missed you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I was impressed by your guys' performance. I thought you guys did a good job.
Well, that was like the longest.
Good job, guys.
I feel like one of the longest Wilson times we've ever done.
Yes, it was.
Because I think the longest one we done was it with Gobby Talks or was it with Nut? I can't remember. We
It
had
was a combo one.
The collab was like 2 hours.
Yeah. Imagine sitting in that Morse suit for 2 hours.
Dude, I had that Pennywise mask on my face. Dude, I broke out immediately the next day. That was horrible. My face was covered in saliva and sweat. I was like, it's disgusting.
Cleaner, did you enjoy the Halloween special?
I did. I liked having I liked you guys having the Tricon there. Love to see all you guys' costumes. The only thing was, it was kind of hard to hear Red in his Pennywise mask.
Yeah,
But it was fun looking at him. So
you know what was annoying about that is because remember last year I wore the Pennywise mask. Remember that?
Yeah.
And the nice thing about those masks, right? They have like little like inserts that keep it away from your face. So there's like one on the chin, and one on your forehead, so it like keeps it away so you can talk. That one, that Jigsaw mask, there was no insert, so it was literally just suctioned onto my face like this.
Dude, I was cracking up because that's all I heard from everybody. It was giving me some feedback. They're like, "Yeah, it was great, but we just couldn't hear Red at all." I was like, "Well, that sucks. Couldn't hear him, and he was suffering in that thing the entire time."
It was bad. But
yeah,
we did. What's a Wilson time Halloween special without somebody suffering through it?
Dude, the Morsu is brutal. I'm still not washing it, but it's just like
That's so nice,
when I took it off,
you must sweat so much in that motherfucker too.
I mean, it's either dirt or it's like the costume, but it's like I had like this like black film underneath my fingernails for like a week afterwards. Pretty cool. But yeah. So last week, was there any surprises to anybody? Anything jump off the page?
I'll go first. Not kind of touch base on it, but it was kind of bullshit that all the 3 matchups everybody that had 100-point games, right, all faced each other. Kind of some, I guess it's not really bullshit. It made me feel better because, right, I was like, oh, this is my second week in a row beating somebody that scored over 110 points, right? So I felt good. But overall, for all the other teams that didn't win, that scored over 100 points, it's pretty shitty because everybody else kind of, underperformed.
Yeah, I would say the biggest surprise is Messi popping off the way he did, and Pate, I guess. And on the flip end, Calvin only getting 88 points, especially all of them with the moves he made. I think everyone was expecting him to score a lot more than that.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah, I was really surprised that Pate's team did so well and he still lost.
Yeah, but
I'm also surprised that Nut made his matchup with Red so close because going into Monday night, I felt like he had zero chance. And then I was even texting Red. I was like, "Yeah, you fucking got him. Take down the Emperor." And then he like came storming back, and it was way closer than I thought it would be.
I mean, yeah, Zach is the master of Monday night comebacks, and so props on Red for breaking that curse.
Yeah, hold him off. Red, you muted.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
defeated against Nut.
it was funny because I was kind of being like this. What I've realized in my victories as of late is like kind of being like the more like humble, like not sitting there and talking a lot of shit because I feel like I've done that plenty of times and it's come to bite me in the ass. And so the last couple of weeks, like I just kind of be like on the down low, and then yeah, Diz sent me something in the middle of the day. He's like, "Dude, you're gonna freaking cream him," And I was like, and as soon as he said that, like I'm like, yeah, I could cream him. And then we go into Sunday night, and of course, or whatever, freaking the kicker that's like the number 8 kicker in the year, dude, like doink doink, like breaks his leg. I was like, oh my fucking god. And then that whole game, dude, I was stressing so hard because he only needed 2 points in the whole fourth quarter from both those guys. And I was like, I'm done. And it even went into overtime and I still won. So yeah, it was funny. Yeah.
Those Monday night stress games are the worst. I actually hate them.
I've had like 4 of those this year, Cleaner. I know you've had a couple yourself, but dude,
I've had a bunch.
Dylan, you had one Dylan, you had one. It's just like it takes like a year off your life.
Well, and especially like when you don't have any players playing, you just have the lead.
Yeah, you'd have to watch someone else's players slowly get more and more points. You're like, no, stop, please.
It's like slow. Yeah, it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's like just slow torture. I always feel hopeless. I'm like, I wish I could go out there and do something, but I can't.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah,
but I guess
get me in there. Come on, Coach Mike.
I guess that's another surprise, and I just won't lay off Nut this year. Like, good fight, but I'm glad I took it down. But at the same time, I just don't like his team. It's just crazy to me that how he keeps performing the way that he does, because I just look at his team and he keeps talking about, I don't have a quarterback, and my quarterback doesn't do this, blah, blah, blah. It's like every week though, somebody just blows up, and it's just so interesting to me because you look at his team and yeah, dude, he was kind of talking about it. He was kind of shitting on his own team, talking about his wide receiving core and whatnot. Yeah, you look at his team and you're not sitting there being like, wow, this team should score 100 points every week. But he always does somehow. So it was, he had me fucking puckered all week. But at the same time, I was very shocked that he put up that many points. I thought I was going to beat him once I scored over 115. I was like, it's over. But yeah, he came back.
Speaking of which, I mean, I guess a big surprise for me. I didn't even know this, so I just looked at it. But that Cedric Tillman dude has put up double-digit fantasy points in 3 straight weeks. 10.1 against the Bengals, 21.9 versus the Ravens, and then 13.5 against his Chargers there. So what a nice little surprise. I mean, we all know Emperor Nutpatine. He's a tricky one. I never sleep on Nut, and neither should anybody else. But
he knows the perfect time to drop him, so maybe it's
yeah.
But yeah, no. I thought that was a surprise too, how close that became. And the Monday night matchups, it seems like they are just more frequent than ever. I can't remember last season that we had that there was this many like coming down to the nitty gritty at the end there. And then I mean, Calvin, the Shakespearean tragedy that Calvin did to himself this last week, I thought D-Hop would go out there and do some things. I didn't think he was going to go out and start just hogging out. But, I mean, it's like from the jump in that game, you could just tell D-Hop. It was like D-Hop and Kelsey, and that was it. And, like, they're going. Because Kareem couldn't run the ball for the most part. Yeah, it was too good. The fact that Cal traded him over there. And now I'm kind of kicking myself. I'm like, I wish I would have got D-Hop. But
No, you don't want D Hop.
yeah,
That was just a scripted game. It was bound to happen.
I thought it was amazing that Brian named him 80 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then he almost got exactly that.
Yeah.
Dude, the prophet. All right, so real quick before we go on to, because I want to dive in with Cleaner here about his season. I just want to read off a little quote I read, and then we'll move on. But I really enjoyed this, Red, because it's just so ironic because you seem to hate the draft cash, yet you were trying to toss money at people too at the same time. But I don't like paying people off like I'm the mob.
Yeah,
what do you really like? What do you even mean by that, Red?
Okay, so for one, that was in context of like Cal, because I was telling Cal how much money he spent this year, and he's like, "Well, I've made money back." I was like, "Yeah, but overall, Calvin's probably spent like over $300 on his team, and he's sold off like little pieces here and there. Like, oh, I'll send off DeAndre Hopkins for $15. I'll send off Michael Pittman for some, X amount of cash, whatever it is, But I was giving him a hard time, and I was just telling him that I like my trades this year. I've been trying to do trades, and like I said, so far I'm fine with my trades. I've made 2, and they both I think will benefit me in the long run. But I was telling him, I said I just like the player for players, or I like doing it where I try to benefit both teams, and then you slide in a little cash to finish it off. I told Cal I just don't like when people just give half their bench and then just pay them off like they're the mob. Just give them a $30 check, $30, and be like, hey, we'll call it even at that point. I just don't like that. So that's just what I was meaning by that. And it was just Cal and I just argue all the time about this whole trading situation.
Oh,
so.
we know.
Yeah.
I'm curious though to Dirty and Cleaner's thoughts here, because I mean you guys are in your third year. So how do you guys go about your trades when you're going into it? Are you automatically thinking, I'm going to throw, there's got to be some sort of cash in here, whether you're the ones giving it or receiving it, or are you looking also at just straight player for player trades? Cleaner, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm looking at both. But usually I go in with the expectation of either I'm selling or I'm buying kind of thing. If you're going into a buying mindset, then you expect to throw in cash, right? You're trying to get a better player. So I guess I approach it both ways. I've leaned towards more of throwing in some cash one way or the other. It's really hard to, maybe because I've only been in it during the cash era, but I can't imagine doing as many trades as we do without cash being involved, right? I think it would cut everything down by half.
Right.
And this obsession of just like when everyone does does a trade with no cash involved, and everyone's like patting themselves on the back, like good job, good job, good job. I just don't understand that obsession, especially. I mean, if it's an even trade, yeah, sure, but some of them haven't been even, and we're like, oh, what the heck's going on, kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Diz?
My opinion will always and has been that cash is king.
Yeah.
Whatever you're trying to do, a little bit of cheddar in there. Cheddar on the sloppy really gets it greasy. So
Cheddar on the sloppy.
That's
but no, for real though, I totally agree with what Alec was saying. 1, I don't think we get as many deals done. 2, I want to get my deals done, so I put cash in them.
Yeah. Let me clarify this, because it's not like I'm saying don't use cash. I just use it in the sense that like Calvin always empties his dirty laundry with a freaking $50 check attached to it.
Well, okay, but
like a lot of the time, like let's
to
be honest,
fair,
like, a lot of the time it happens like that.
I mean, to be fair though, it's like, okay, what about the Jonathan Taylor trade?
Well, that's obviously he just wanted Bijan back, so he had to get to Taylor in order to get it done.
Yeah, but I mean, that's still a trade though. That's not.
Didn't he have to pay to get Taylor?
Maybe so, but I'm saying it's not like he's emptying the point is he's not emptying the dirty laundry. He's emptying a top 10 running back.
Well, yeah, true. I'll give him one trade.
well, I mean, I'm not going to go through all the trades that I can think of, but I do think it's interesting. Okay, go ahead, Diz.
Raise my hand. The teacher.
Yeah.
What my argument against that is, as a team in my current position that blew a bunch of money mid-season, and now I'm right up against the trade deadline, and I got to get some money back. If Cal swooped in and offered me a bunch of cash for one of my players, I would 100% take it.
And I understand that because I've been in that position before.
Yeah, so
Right. So
big checks go far.
What I was gonna say is I think it's like because you guys have only been in it during the draft, like the auction era, so that's it's all you know with us. Where the time before there was no cash, so you had to figure out how to do it player for players. So it's like, okay, if you want to elevate whatever position you're going for, you had to figure out how to package up a couple of guys and go make it happen. And then on the other end of that, it's like being the owner of the hog. You're like, oh man, do I actually want to do this? Because this guy is a hog already. But the debt part comes into.
And to Cleaner's point where he's talking about why people pat themselves on the back is because they obviously have only been here the auction era with draft dollars involved. But back then, like when Gare would do something like that, it was like we were like, holy shit, like how did he convince somebody to do that, right? Because like it's easy to convince somebody like let's take yours and Diz's trade earlier. It's easy to convince Diz to sell you James Cook when you're going to give him $37, right?
Yeah, that Brian Dill trade had a lot of Gare energy coming from Dill.
Yes, it did.
And that's when that's like obviously we're still going to be like, oh, whether Gare back in the day was trade rape or whatever, or we told Dylan, oh, you easily won that trade, right? Like we're going to say it, but you also give it a little more props because you're like, holy shit, like how did you convince somebody to take these players and give you these players in return when everybody else sees it differently?
Sure.
Right. Yeah. People hate, but reality, because I've always felt this way too. It's like, man, I wish I was like the one that could have done that. And so trying to understand that.
I.e. Kareem Hunt back in the day when Gabi got freaking swindled by Gare, and then
nobody will forget it.
And Gare literally won the championship like the easiest way ever.
Yeah, I think he had the highest scoring team ever in our.
Yes, that was the worst year. Alvin Kamara, Kareem Hunt, like it was just horrible.
He had I thought he had Todd Gurley.
Did he have Todd Gurley? It was one of the guys like
he had Todd Gurley, and Todd Gurley was already the number one, and then he somehow trade raped Gabi for Kareem. Like at the beginning of the season too.
I think he gave him I don't even know what he gave him. I think it was like Damian Harris or something. I can't, and like something else. I can't remember.
No idea. But I mean, I think it's a good segue then. So Cleaner, let's dive in with you here. Your trading experience. So we asked Trike last week. How's your trading experience been this year for you?
It's been very frustrating. It seems like I've been trying to trade multiple times, and every time they go with someone else, and I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I can't pay. I'm at the max. I can't give you any more than I'm offering. And then I see what they take, and I'm just like the Picard meme face palm. I'm like, what are you thinking? And that's happened to me more than once. And I put all this energy into it. So I was like, fuck it. So it's been a very frustrating season for trading for me, at least.
And Cleaner, I applaud you for saying that because I literally will piggyback right off. I literally had a conversation with Dill last night, and I said, "Dude, I'm just exhausted." I was like,
exactly.
I told Dylan, I said, I'm kind of just ready for the trade deadline to come because I'm so tired of it. Like, and it, and whatever, people can make their own decisions and whatnot, but there's been so many times this year where either I was in the middle of a conversation for somebody and somebody misreads my text, or somebody doesn't look at my text, and then after they make the trade, they're like, oh shit, I didn't see this. And I'm like, well, fuck me, and they're like, yeah, fucked up. And you're like, well, yeah, that kind of fucking sucks. Or like somebody says like, oh yeah, let's do it. And then they're like, let me sleep on it. And then they back out. And it's like, it kind of weighs down on you because you're like, after a while, you're like, fuck, dude, like, what, like I feel like I just got duped.
Yeah, I'm over here offering a free trade, and you're going for the dupe. It's like, oh, come on, buddy.
How many trades have you completed this year, Ed?
Dose.
What was the other one aside from us?
Jameson. Shiner. He bought old Tomcat from me for Trey
Old
Benson and
Tomcat.
cash.
Wait, how many trades have all of us made? I made 2.
I've done 3 if you count me just buying my backup.
Yeah, count that.
4 or 5.
How many you regret, Diz?
None of them.
See, if you would have kept all your players, you might be feeling a little better.
No, actually, I wish. I don't think Nut will care about this, but Nut reached out to me last week and asked if he could buy Zach Moss from me straight cash, and I was just gonna try to ring him for as much as I could.
Yeah, greedy.
I know, and it wasn't even. It was like maybe $8 versus like $12, and I just too greedy on it. Didn't go through, and now I got fucking nothing.
And
That's the story of my trades. All of my trade value seems to just fly out the door. Dak Prescott done. Pacheco done. Zach Moss done.
Well, but at the same time, okay, that's a learning lesson right there. The greedy part. So, like, for instance, I think I was telling you earlier, Diz, like when we made that trade, you were talking about like you just want to get a deal done and everything. That's how it's like if I were to sit there, I'm like, yeah, I could probably try to squeeze him for a couple more bucks, but then I'm gonna jeopardize actually being able to get this done. And like everybody, from what I'm hearing right now, it's draining to go through these long conversations that could sometimes last weeks, just not to have anything come through. And even sometimes when you make the trade happen, you're like, oh, goddamn, like finally it's over, but you haven't been enjoying it as much as, you would have like initially. So this is kind of for both the Diz and the Queens. Gators unite. So now we're 3 years in.
Yeah, year 3.
Who is better?
Shit, son.
We're equals. Gators unite.
No. There is never an equal. There's always somebody getting spiked over there while the one is holding off the other. So who is it?
Well, I think just like in Smash, the fantasy has gone as, the results speak for themselves.
I would give the crown to Alec because he went to the championship last year.
All right. I would agree with that. All right.
You'll be up for next year. There's you and me in the championship. Gator.
Yeah, dude.
A Gator Bowl. We'll have a Gator Bowl next year.
Oh God. What would this league be coming to if that happened? So, Queen, I want to talk about a trade that you did earlier and just more your thoughts on it. This isn't attacking you, by the way. This is just a simple question. So, can you walk us through your thought process when you made your trade with Nut?
Sure.
The Javonte. So it was Javonte Williams plus 10 draft for DJ Moore, and you already were the owner of Keenan Allen.
Right, and that's Zach and I had the same discussion. I said Keenan and DJ Moore are almost on the same playing field in my eyes as far as the Bears go. But to be honest, DJ Moore is a better wide receiver, and I needed wide receivers, and I was getting desperate. So I'm not saying I love the trade I did. And also, Zach has been on my ass all year to get Javonte Williams. And there's one thing, something that to kind of point to something that Zach said in one of his Pudleys a couple weeks back about having players on your team that you just like watching. Yep. Well, for me, it's the opposite. I don't necessarily like watching DJ Moore, but I hate Javonte Williams on my team. It was so annoying watching that motherfucker get to the 1 or 2 yard line every single time and not get the touchdown. And I got that one game where he had that 2 touchdown game, and I was like, that's the best he's ever going to do. Get this motherfucker off the team so I can stop being furious at him every week. So maybe it was an overpay. DJ Moore isn't that great, but it's better than what I have rolling out. I was desperate, and so
you paid the $10, right?
I paid the $10.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Well,
desperate times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to give you that Tomcat, buddy.
Yeah, I'm regretting that. Regret not pulling the trigger on that because the Lions are just a team that I wish I had someone on because they're so fun to watch and they score
They're,
a
they're
fuck ton
super
of
fun
fun.
to watch. You know.
Yeah.
Jameson Williams necessarily isn't the guy to have on, but it's still fun. But
Yeah. No, and honestly too, like actually, it makes sense. Like, yeah, when it push comes to shove, you're like, I gotta start winning some games, and like, especially, I think you had Chris Godwin bust his ankle out there. It's
I mean,
like,
if that didn't happen to Godwin, no way in a million years would I have done this.
right. So it depends on the context of your situation, and so like talking about maybe that's our theme right now. It's just like just getting it done, instead of like messing around with a bunch of, trying to add players or making it too complicated. It's like in that situation, yeah, you just had to go grab them and get somebody on the squad. And it's not like it's too late too. Still got till kickoff tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be sending out some feelers.
Gosh, Jed, I forgot tomorrow is literally the deadline.
Red,
Crunch time,
sleeping,
baby.
bud.
You better keep your ringtone on.
Dude, I'm
tomorrow.
so fucking frustrated because my whole thing since like probably week 5 is like keep up with the fucking Joneses, and I've been trying so hard to get a fucking RB1 from somebody, and everybody somehow keeps snagging them up, and I'm like, motherfucker, like I'll package these players, I'll offer this cash. Nope, everybody else,
You
you
just don't
rich
got
get
that.
rich.
You gotta
You
pay up big, dude.
You just don't get that Riz, bud.
Yeah.
So
God.
I'll give Willie that one because if you were to hit me up for James Cook and you're like, dude, James Cook ain't that fucking good, and I'm not gonna pay you enough for him, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
yeah, see, know your
Diz,
trade
you want
play.
you want to go down that road, bud? Because I remember you literally texted me in the morning. Would you pay $37 for James Cook? And I said, it's pretty rich. I might pay a little bit less. And then I never heard back.
And then I was like, let me go sell him to your brother because I know he'll actually do it.
Yeah, and then what did I tell you? I said, oh, so it was a bidding war with Dill. I was like, you don't think you could have swindled me in a little bit harder?
It wasn't a bidding war. Me and Dylan talked about it for multiple days at that point. Plus,
Okay. See, like I'm always on the back burner with everybody.
if I
on
got
their
a
RB1s.
specific offer like that and I'm shooting it to you, it's because it's already been talked about with
I'm
someone
gonna tell you
else.
guys right now.
That's a learning lesson right there.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you send the offer to Dylan though?
Yes.
I initially
So like I was
you started
fucked. You literally told.
Dylan started at $60 on that trade.
Well, see,
Well,
Diz,
yeah.
Diz
I
told
was
me
like,
to.
no way.
This is my problem with this is the convoluted, mind-boggling conversation I had with Diz here. He says I want $37 in a bum player, and I sent back and I said, well, 37 is pretty rich, but I said I'll offer you a good player, and then
no
he
good
literally
players,
never reaches
bums
back
only,
out.
please.
Well,
So in my mind, I was like, okay, well, if I counter out with like $30 and a good player, maybe he'll take that instead of a bum player and 37.
That's the reason I said $37 in a bum player, because I knew if I asked you for a good one, you'd be like, well, 37 is way too high. I'll never do it.
I'll tell you right now, I want everybody. I told everybody this: when they don't take Chuba, I'm telling you, at the end of the year, Chuba still going to be a running back, top 10 running back this year, and everybody will eat their words, dude. I've been trying to sell this guy to to everybody.
Yep, we
No.
know.
That's not true.
Well, actually, yeah, it's not true. Yeah, that is not true, Red. You keep saying everybody, but
Well, I'm saying
I know for a
everybody.
fact there's one guy you haven't talked to.
Well,
I know of a guy I know very well that you haven't talked to.
well, no, okay. And the reason why is because I wanted Jonathan Brooks from you for JMO. That's the reason why, is because I was just going to take Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
And
yeah,
I
of
know
course.
you,
I
and I
see.
and I knew you needed a wide receiver. See, and Dylan, I never asked
Either.
about trading you Chuba because you never had any depth to even trade me anything, and you didn't need a running back.
I just traded for a running back.
You paid money for it.
Yeah.
It's a direct upgrade like the other plan.
And oh yeah, were you gonna give me $30 for old Chuba? No, you're probably gonna be like, oh, I'll give you a injured Cooper Cup.
Don't sell out of your own pocket, buddy.
Red, don't forget, I'm trying to sell you an upgrade as well.
I also have a rule: I won't trade with Dylan. So
Yeah,
What the fuck
he's-
is for?
he's embargoed me.
it's literally fucked me every year I've done it. Literally every year.
Well,
So
speaking of getting fucked over and Chubba, Cleaner, now that you've practiced your patience over this season and have waited on Brooks and Chubb,
hmm
looking back on everything, would you have done anything differently? Like traded? Would you have kept it the same? Or
So that's a kind of a loaded question because I was trying to get rid of Brooks all season and nobody wanted him. So would I try anything different as far as that goes? No, I would have still tried. Maybe tried a little bit harder. I don't know. I tried and failed. With Chubb, I just like Chubb, so unless no one reached out to me for Chubb, but I wasn't really necessarily going to reach out to people as well, just because, the chance that Chubb could come back and be Nick Chubb was too alluring to me to not to really pursue that. So seeing
Yeah.
as things now, maybe I would have tried to move Chubb if I know what I know now, but during the season, there's probably no way I was going to do it.
Sure. Yeah, and I think, well, okay. I wouldn't know if I would say nobody wanted Brooks. I think it was just more of everybody was very cautious. And I think the hype,
Yeah.
some people in our league obviously really like Brooks and believe in it. Some people don't.
And I was
So-
never asking the world for it. I was never asking for someone's wide receiver 1 or RB1 or anything. It's just
what were you
like,
asking for?
Do you, yeah, well, real quick, it was just so funny to me because a couple weeks ago, Cleaner and I went to Zach Pitts' house for just like a low key dinner, and we were sitting there talking fantasy, and I was really needing some running back production, and
Oh, yeah.
that's when
I regret that for sure.
well, I mean, I'm yeah, I'm glad I didn't, but
Yeah.
I had Devontae Adams still on my squad, so we were talking about Jonathan Brooks and Cooper Kupp, and it was just kind of like a straight up sort of deal. And I remember you were like, "Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. It's intriguing, but like definitely gonna sleep on it." I was like, "Yeah, I don't really know if I want to do that either."
Yeah, I regret not pulling the trigger when I had the opportunity for that for sure.
And then, yeah, but it's wild because that's how. Well, I was thinking that way, and I'm sure there were some other people thinking that way, in a sense. But yeah, but now that you're here,
I'll roll with them.
Yeah, you feeling solid with them? I mean,
no, not at all. But I guess it's like if it's a 10% chance, fuck it. 10% chance for him to pop off. Fuck it, roll the dice. Got nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of wild that Chuba didn't get traded before the trade deadline. Especially because Miles Sanders, they already asked, and Miles Sanders is still signed to a fat contract, so
They don't know what they're doing, dude. Panthers
just go run that dude in the ground. Like, let Chuba be free. I've switched gears on Chuba. I think he's actually good now.
Well,
Yeah.
Fucking only took like 30 weeks of football for people to realize he's good. Like he was good last year, and then he's good
I knew
this
it.
year. I know you had him last year.
Red,
so.
you were a hater too last year, though.
I didn't
Yeah,
want
you both
him.
were shitting on me for that trade.
Yeah, I did. What was the trade again?
I think it was straight cash. It was less than $10, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he just bought him.
Wow. Yeah, well, I think it was because that was when they didn't really know if they were going to be going with Chuba, and it was still kind of like the 50-50 with Sanders, right? But he was
and I had Sanders, and he was butt. And
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, give me this guy who's not as butt as this guy. Sure.
True. But I was really high on him coming in. I honestly thought that they were never going to bring Brooks in because it just sounded they were so wishy-washy about it. I was like, are they ever going to activate this man? But also at the same time, it's funny that I say that because I was also trying to trade for him with Cleaner, and
I regret that trade too.
So
there's a lot of trades with Brooks. I guess I do regret. So to go back to your question, yes, I would have done. He was trying to give me Kareem Hunt at the time, but that's when he just got traded to the fucking Chiefs, and we didn't know what was going to go on in that backfield. So I was like, I don't know. And then he started being good, and then it sounded like the offer was no longer on the table. I was like, well, fuck. Yeah.
Well, that's the hard part too. Is like when you have like an injured guy and you're training for another injured guy, you're like, They're
Yeah.
both gambles. I guess it's just who do you believe? You've been rocking with this dude.
Because Cleaner, are you like, I don't know if throughout the year, you look back on things and you it's kind of like if you start a player 1 week and you forgot to start this other guy and the other guy pops off on your bench, you're like, what could have been, right?
Yeah.
Like, would you be you probably would be right around the same record right now, maybe 4-5 or 5-4 or whatever, even if you wouldn't have done that Christian McCaffrey trade?
No, I won at least one game that I know of because of Rico.
Okay, so like you
I
might
won
have,
my Cody's.
Rico.
I won Cody's matchup because of Rico.
so like you might have been like 4 and what are you 5-4 right now?
I'm
Yeah.
5-4, so I would have
Yep.
been 4-5.
So like in my mind, so it's obviously like it could work out in your favor because obviously Jonathan Brooks could just take over the backfield and whatnot, and we also didn't know Christian McCaffrey coming back, but it's kind of interesting to just think about it. Like, do you ever think of like, oh, I could have been like 4-5 with Christian McCaffrey coming back?
Yes, I think about that a lot. I think about that constantly, especially coming up closer and closer to CNC coming back.
Which is so interesting to me that this man went from like I can't run to being like they were like, oh yeah, week 10 he's good to go. And I'm like,
yeah,
dude,
we'll see. We'll see what actually happens
Yeah.
when it comes to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. And that's
But
also
he's
what
CNC,
happens.
so I'm sure he'll be fucking good.
Right, and he's got bukus of money, so I'm sure he's got all kinds of crazy stuff going on in his leg.
And can we talk about that? I was telling who was I telling this to? Oh no, I think I put it in the group chat or whatever. But just saying, like Jameson Williams got suspended for 2 weeks because he fucking literally forgot to tell the NFL that he was going from a different form of Adderall to the generic form of Adderall, so they suspended him 2 weeks when it's a prescription drug. And then we got CMC over here just injecting himself with stem cells all like every week, and they're like, oh yeah, you're
NFL approved.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's organic.
Yes.
I know, it's crazy. We have a guy that we know that got a DUI because of Adderall. So, I mean, it's pretty wild to think about that way. Cleaner, you're actually, I'll give you a little kudos here. You have an 87.8% average on your start and sit accuracy. So, you seem to, I mean, you had a handful of players, throughout the year. I would argue that you had some pretty good depth for a while there.
Yeah, there was one, I forgot with who I was playing. One of my losses. Oh, it was because I benched Rico, I think. And he went off for like 18 points or something. And I would have won if I played Rico. So that was my one miss that I remembered. Like, this Rico guy, he's coming up, dude. And so I was like, all right, Rico, I respect you now. I lost because of your ass, so.
It sounds like Rico is like the driver of your team.
Yes. Need to change my name.
It's like we think about like Derrick Henry and Trike's team, and we think of players like wherever Rico Dowdle goes.
Yeah. You can't stop me. I have Rico Dowdle on my team.
Rico Suave, baby. So before we move on, though, I'll just let Alec have the floor here. If you, because we know that on Wilson Time, and we talked about in the pre-production and obviously in the group chats, but we kind of berate you a little bit on your trades, and it's been consistent now. So you can have the floor if you'd like to say anything. You can have it all.
Yeah, I guess I have a lot of bone to pick with Wilson Time, but
I gotta go. See you guys later.
yeah. I mean, every year I have this trade that I just get shit on constantly, and it's not better by the fact that I fucking see Cal and Dill 3 times a week, and so I hear about it and like I listen to it and get reamed, then I go hang out with these guys and get reamed. I don't even know why I do that anymore. And usually they ends up working in my favor, and then whenever that happens, when you guys are going through your fucking like who's gonna win this week, and then you get to me and you don't even look at my team half the time. You're like, fuck that guy, that guy's gonna lose. And it's like, oh, why do I listen to this fucking show anymore?
Loyal fan.
And then every time I have a trade, half of it is spent shitting on me, and then when one of you 3 boys have a shitty trade or a trade rape, it's just like oh, good job, buddy, or like it's okay, my sweet prince.
I think and Cleaner, that's actually I will take that, because the problem is Cleaner is there's plenty of shitting on Dylan when he does these trades and stuff like that. Like the problem is that we don't do a good enough job of starting this fucking this podcast on time because we'll just Diz and I will berate Dylan for like 20 minutes before we start the show.
Yeah, you
And
need to
then we-
save that for the show, baby.
So
Yeah, we're practicing that. We're trying to limit the chatter in the pre-show and
which is
get
so
it.
dumb, dude. Like, what did this show is like? What, like an hour and 20 minutes? Sometimes it should be like 4 hours at that. So like,
I know it's all the. I mean, it's rambling and everything. You know, it's just we can't seem to get over it.
Yeah, and then like you doing your whole trade sermon the other day, and then using me as a bad example and fucking spreading lies on it, and it's like, it's
Well,
like
not spreading
usually
lies.
it's just like don't be like the idiot Alec over here. And it's like every other week it's just me getting blasted on Wilson time. I feel like, god damn it.
I will say you got me back a little bit with when everybody was ganging up on me about the trading. You were throwing little shots in there at me, so I felt like you got a little bit of like
Yeah.
you avenged yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
To
not
me,
a
at least.
yeah. But that's the end of the Alex bone to pick section of the show. So thank you.
Alec, I feel like I
But he-
try my best to pick your team in our matchups.
well, I want you to be. I am not saying to pick my team. I want everyone to be objective and look at everything and be blah 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 blah. Just like,
I
oh,
know, I
Alex,
get,
just quickly scroll by Alex. See, fuck that guy. He's losing. It's
I
like,
get
oh.
infected by being on Wilson time running the 1s and 2s, so I have to remember. I'm like, oh yeah, Gators unite. And then I look at
Yeah.
the team again. I'm like, I'll pick him.
Yeah, Alec, I try to. There's sometimes when we're getting on, I'm like, okay, I need to like actually go dive into Alex's team, give him a little booster, you know, and then I just forget about when we're in there, and I'm like, oh, there's Alex's team.
Yeah.
But I will make a concerted effort to make sure to actually look at your team, and if I still pick against you, yeah, I mean, so be
Yeah.
it. I'll just shit on you.
It's kind of true.
Everybody
I
has to be shit on a little bit.
Yeah, no, I don't mind getting shit on, but it's yeah, you have to have a reason to shit on me. It's like I want to at the end of getting shit on, I'll be like, yeah, I kind of deserved it, or yeah, he's right. It's like
I
instead of
guess
being like, what are they even talking about?
my analysis this whole year with Cleaner's team, I think, has just been like, it's fun to watch Lamar Jackson and Kyron Williams, and that's the only people. And like, so I guess
That's the only people I have fun watching. man.
Yeah, so
So,
I guess that's
I'm
where
with you right there.
Yeah.
Well, also he's the Chuba owner, and so he's been talking mad shit about Brooks all year.
I do talk mad shit about Brooks, but if you want to, I'll take him up.
I think my favorite was a few weeks ago. You were shitting on Brooks, and then I get a text from you later, like, "Yo, you want to do a Brooks trade?" It's like, what? Sneaking in some Emperor Palpatine mind tricks going on
Well,
right now.
I think it's funny because like a lot of this whole year has been kind of like my experience. This whole year has been like my team's good, but I've also been absolutely shit on about my trading all year long. Like,
Yeah, I need to make a trade now. I'll
and
show
so,
them.
And for me, like I've had all these trade talks and they've all fallen through, and a lot of times not by my hand, you know, somebody else's. And so I'll be sitting there at night and I'll just like going into this rabbit hole, being like, well, if I make this trade, then I can make this trade and I can make this trade. So I start like doing these like multiple trades in my head, like I'm fucking Rain Man or something. I'm like,
Just staring up at the ceiling. You
Yeah.
can see all the pieces move in your head.
if there was a camera in there, it'd probably just look at me like I'm just crazy or something. Like my hair is like, whoosh, and I'm like, my
You're not
eyes are like two different ways or something.
Yeah, you're not even sleeping. You're just laying there wide-eyed, staring at the ceiling, just.
Like maybe I do like Brooks.
And see, that's why, dude, fantasy is 100% bad for your health because it's just like we're all talking about right now. I know everybody else in the league's feeling it too. The attrition over the course of a season, especially leading up to the trade deadline, DVFFL never sleeps. It's always going. And I mean, pretty interesting that last trade we just saw with COD and Scheimer, because I heard that a couple players were untouchable, yet they just got touched. So explain that one to me, boys. Nothing is ever as it seems.
Speaking of that, we were talking about that earlier, but I just want to mention how this is Brian's last season, and Brian having a rookie hog, which he loves, and that rookie hog is a giant. I think it's so fitting that Brian ends his DVFFL career as of now with Malik Neighbors on his team. So I like having him. I like
It
that.
is fitting. It is fitting. And he likes, and we were talking about Jameson Williams, and he's like, and I was telling him how much I liked him, and he's like, man, he's like, I didn't think anybody liked Tomcat as much as I did, and I was like, well, here you go, take him. And he's like, oh, like I'll give him your money. And I was like, I like him, but I like this money more.
I would have liked him, but he burned me before. I guess I did the same thing with Kyler. But
Is that why you didn't text me back about Jameson Williams? Is because you were talking to Brian?
I think so. I actually used you. I would told Brian.
Fucker.
I said cleaner's barking up my tree.
well, yeah.
Damn it.
So, I mean, it's funny too, right? Because what you're talking about with Diz earlier, that he didn't give you a chance on the James Cook, sounds like it happened over there with James.
Well, let's be fair. Cleaner and I have talked about the Brooks and Jameson Williams things for a while. It's been not like it wasn't like
I'm not blaming him.
It wasn't like it wasn't like a 2-hour time limit, and I was like, sorry, you're out, but it was like we had to talk about JMO. And it's actually super funny because I've been literally putting like reports and like highlighting articles for Cleaner in there about Tomcat. And
Yeah, he was.
And his thing with the whole.
Now that's going the extra mile.
Because he was trying to give me Jameson Williams, and I was like, didn't I just read an article about him? But it's like there's a warrant for his arrest out. And I was like, dude, you tricky little bitch. You're trying to give me this guy with a warrant?
Yeah. I've been giving him daily updates from like the Detroit Lions. Like,
yeah, the next day, he's like, the warrant's good, dude. Let's do it. It's like,
hey, if you want to make the trade happen, like you got to do what you got to do. So if it's got to be going out there and finding news articles and, well, I guess for some of you Reddit boys diving in, I still don't understand why you guys go so hard on the Reddit with fantasy. It's just a bunch of fucking people out there throwing their opinions.
No, isn't that what everything is?
Yeah, but they're experts.
Well, I really look for like the Reddit thing with like reports. Like I see like reports because like a lot of beat reporters go on there and like a Carolina fan or something like that with Jonathan Brooks will post like something like, oh, this update, and then also it was kind of nice because I've been going crazy with the Chuba freaking Brooks thing for like 5 weeks now, like since he was supposed to return. And there were people in there, and it made me feel better because people were like, you're not the only one freaking out about if Brooks is coming back. And I was like, thank the Lord. Like, there was like a support group for me.
Support group. That's all I'm thinking of. Is that how you feel, Diz? Are you in there finding your support group with, I don't know what you'd be finding there with Pacheco owners?
Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders.
And
just to the benefit of the Reddit conversation, I mean, if you have a favorite team that you follow, being a part of the subreddit of them, it makes it so much more interesting to like see everything going on because you get the insider reports like from inside the locker room. You have just all of these things that you don't see in like the normal media. So you kind of feel like you know more about your team than someone else would, which is how it should be if they're your favorite.
And some of them are pretty interesting too. Like I follow the Raider one, and I follow the Cowboy one, and the Rams one.
The Raider one is very interesting.
The Cowboy one, I didn't add that shit. The algorithm just started throwing Cowboy shit. And the only reason I kept looking at it is because it's Cowboy fans shitting hard on the Cowboys. Like, this is kind of cathartic, and I kind of like.
Yeah, right, Cleaner. And all the Reddit fans, if they know what a flare is, we're gonna go to Cleaner's. Like, I'm gonna go into the Cowboys thing. It's gonna have a Rico Dowdle flare.
Oh hell yeah! I like how that's probably Jerry in there. He's like, hey, make sure Cleaner gets this. Slides it in. So I was thinking about a segment that we did like years ago. And I thought it would be fitting for where we're at in the season right now. So we're coming down to the crunch time. We're hitting the trade deadline right now. And then it's just a couple weeks of playoffs. So, or I guess Sacco playoffs for some. But
sack-offs.
The sack-off.
Yeah, there we
go. So it's teach or get taught. And it's pretty simple. All this is going to be is we're going to pick. We'll start here. So right now in the bottom bracket, so whoever's not, I guess it'd be 9 through 14 there. Who do you guys predict to make the playoffs? And you'll know a reason why.
9 through 14?
Yeah, so whoever's in the bottom, who comes sneaking up in there? We'll start with Cleaner.
So out of the let me go to the rankings. So out of the people currently not in the top 8, who do you think is going to make it?
Yes.
Okay, let me go to the league. Let's see. Well, Cody, I think will make it. He's number 9 right now.
Okay.
I think that's it. I don't see anyone else making the jump.
I have a juicy take.
All right, Red, go ahead on it.
So it was actually funny because when I was talking to Scheimer about selling old Tomcat to him, he was talking about shoring up his wide receiving core, and I was like, I would love nothing more than sell you Jameson Williams right now. And I was like, shore up that wide receiving core. And I told him after he made the trade, I was like, my hot take is that you will supplant either Cal or Dill from the playoffs, and you will make it over them.
Woo!
So I think COD has a very good chance. Like COD, I'm going to give him a really good chance. But that's my hot take. Is I told Scheimer, I said, I think that you will supplant either Dill or Cal from making the playoffs.
Actually, yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, Brian is 4-5, and for some reason I thought his record was worse than that. So yeah, I could see Brian making the jump.
All
Can I
right.
say, as a competitor in the lower depths of the league, having Brian down there with us and him having no issue spending all of his money going into next year really does not help me. He just fucking, hey, let me cash out and fucking kick this guy down to the gutter. Fuck me.
That's it. So okay, Des, who are you picking down there?
Pick COD. No more comments.
You're not picking yourself?
I would pick myself, but I'm trying to be a
Hey,
more educated speaker on Wilson.
yeah, this is fair media site, okay?
Yeah. No, I'm fucking picking myself. I'm not going to the Sacco Bowl.
Okay, so like let's think this because I actually like Scheimer's team now. Like he's got a solid squad. Give us a reason why he wouldn't make it over like say a COD.
Well, one, Cody's team I think is just better on paper.
Okay.
Yeah, so Brian has a good team. Out of all the people not in the top 8, I think Brian is in second place on just how solid his team is. But he has I don't know. He has some people that can put up some. I'm sorry. That's Dirt Steiner that I'm looking at.
Would you let me ask you a question because we're talking about like, would you take him over say like I'm going to throw you on the spot here, Claire. Would you take his team over like say your team or Jesse's team?
Not over my team, no.
Okay.
And not over Jesse's team either.
Not over Jesse. Okay.
I could tell by your little smirk that you don't agree. I don't know if I really want to.
I wanted you to just like be like yes.
No, I'm being objective. I would. My team isn't. I want to say my team's great, but I would still take my team over.
Okay. All right. Real quick, is there a possibility that 2 of them make it up?
Well, yeah, 2 people going up means that 2 people are leaving, right? And out of the people currently in the top 8, I don't really see a situation where they will be bad enough to leave. You could say my team, maybe. That's what some of you are thinking, I think. But I also have a pretty easy schedule for the rest of the season. I have Mike to play, which will be tough. And then after that, it's really not that bad. So I'm confident in myself in making playoffs, knock on wood. Jesse,
Well,
and see,
real quick, I'll give you mine because that's the next question: is who in the top slips out. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take COD's team over Brian's. It's closer than you think, especially after that trade. I really like that trade. I like the trade for both. Like I thought it was a fair trade. But as COD's team, I mean, on paper, we were saying like Jamar Chase now with Tyreek Hill, if Tua's doing his thing, it's like, damn, that's a really good wide receiver core. Plus, his running backs are solid too. I mean, he just has like an overall like.
And Joe Burrow, dude. Yeah, Cody's got a good ass team, I think.
Yeah, it's good, and I think with the points that he has, he can hang. You know, if it comes down to like tiebreakers. I mean, that's one problem with Brian is that he's got 785 points. COD has 896.
Yeah.
You know, if it came down to it, it's like that's quite a bit to overcome. And I don't really see. I think both of them will be scoring points. I just don't know if he can like make up enough ground at this point.
Well,
But okay, so with that being said, though, in the top part, who do you guys think slips out?
I think Brandon has a good chance of slipping out.
Nice.
August
To be
sluts.
honest, I think it's very top heavy with Kamara. I guess Jones is pretty hit and miss. I don't know. And CJ Stroud, I don't know what's going on with that dude.
Yeah, it's weird.
And Nico coming back is going to it's be good for CJ Stroud, I guess, but it's going to dump Tank Dell. I guess I don't know. His shining light is Kamara and Kittle, which were good lights to have, but is it enough to? If he loses 2 more games, it might be rough.
Right, is it enough to fend off like a COD coming in there or Brian? Daryl, go ahead.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I feel like you're going to be slipping on down with me, Alec.
Me?
I think
Well,
so.
if I do, I'll be waving from the top of the fucking Sacco Hill as you keep rolling down.
The
We'll
dung
see.
beetle 4-minute shit pile down there.
We do get our little rematch from week 1 at the end of the
We
year.
do when the Ravens are bye, dude. You win the first match because of the CMC bullshit, and then the second time we meet, the Ravens are on bye, which is gonna be very not cool for me. So we'll see what.
It will be interesting, Alec, because I bet our score and everything in our games won. I think it'll be close because I also have a somewhat easy schedule going forward, and not including our matchup, but we also have a few that are like I'll probably lose that. So I think it'll make it super close when we come to that week.
Yeah.
Right. Red?
I think, I gotta give my daily shitting on of Steven, but I think Steven drops out because right now because right now he's what 4 and 5.
He's 4 and 5.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
He plays me this week. Strong possibility he loses. Well, he's going to actually lose this week. So that's one
Walking in.
loss. Now go to week 12. He has a shit ton of players on bye. That's the strong possibility he's losing that week. And then you got Dylan. You faced him week 14. Strong possibility you could beat him that week because he's got Fairbairn out that week, which is basically our running. And so
Johnny's out, huh?
So I think.
Damn, Dill, you got a lot of people on bye week 12 too.
Oh yeah, that's when I play him.
Yeah.
I gotta make a trade. Fuck.
Yeah.
So there's
that.
So I think with Steven where he's at right now, and I talked about this last week. In theory, right, Steven's team is like fucking loaded. Like it's a loaded team, but we just saw his team score a sub 90 points. Like he made all these moves and it still only scored less than 90 points and he lost to a bottom 5 team. Now we're talking about this week. He's going against me, who's a top 5 team. We're talking about that week 12 where he has nobody. He has a lot of people on bye. I think he has Josh Allen on bye possibly. And then we're talking about week 14 where he's playing against you, Dill, where he's got Fairbairn on bye, and that's a close matchup. And that's a close matchup. Cal could end the season with 8. He could end the season with 8 losses.
What am I pulling up?
That's a good point.
Calvin's schedule in week 12.
So tell me he wins. So if he ends up with 8 losses, that means only 6 wins, right? You don't make the playoffs in this league with 6 wins.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I think with his team, I mean, you're right. That was actually kind of a shock how little points he put up last week, and which I mean, you have those.
Well, but to be fair, also Puka fucking was chucked out.
Yeah, ejected, right.
So just to sum it up for the folks at home, he has Taysom Hill on bye, Tanks Bigsby, Bijan Robinson, and Josh Allen on bye in week 12.
This week he plays Bijan's too. How fun. Yeah, and it's like Cal has his schedule going forward, and I told him at the beginning of the year, I was like, that week 14 when we play each other, it's gonna be real interesting. I was like, I feel like it's gonna come down to like either one of us or both of us are trying to make playoffs. and that match will decide it. And it seems like, at least for one of us, it's going to be possibly looking that way. Calvin losing this week, I think last week will have bigger implications than I think we're seeing right now. Just we'll see how it shakes out. The nice part for him is that dude still has a good team, and he's still averaging over 100 points a game. So
Dill, it's highly unfortunate that James Cook and Brees Hall have the same bye week. I didn't even realize.
Well, I have a week like that too. Like I literally have I have Tracy's on bye, Connor's on bye, and Chubba's on bye all the same week.
You think a champion, 3-time champion, is worried about one bye week?
This is why I'm saying this is
Forget about it.
Because Dylan and I have a cushion. We're 6-3 right now. Calvin doesn't have a cushion to have a 1 week off where he has nobody playing. Because there's a strong possibility that he ends up, like I said, 6-8 or 7-7, and he's fighting for his life. And so Dylan and I, we got a little bit of a cushion because we can lose a couple games, right, and still be fine. Cal, he's got to freaking win. He's got to win basically, if not all of his games, at least 4 of the rest of his games.
Yeah. That's all I'll take, though. I mean, I was not expecting that. I also wasn't expecting the B. Johns thing either. But I mean, I could see it. I could see
Christian brings some good points.
So that's why I think Calvin could possibly fall out. But there's obviously other people like Jesse's team hasn't performed. He has Debo Samuel and he has Nico Collins. Nico Collins still doesn't sound like he's 100%. Debo, I've had Debo. He gets injured a lot, and especially right now, they're using him more without IU. Strong possibility he can get injured. So
maybe it's just recency bias for me that Jesse just fucking exploded last week.
Well,
it kind of did because right, if we look at how points for Jesse's, he's what 8th in the league or something like that in points. Like he's not like he usually is.
Yeah, no, it's true. I ever so badly want to pick Nut.
9th, he's 9th.
Because I don't believe in Nut's team, but which you'll hate me for saying this, and I'll probably hear about it at some point or another. But I, like with the 6-3, like it's a nice cushion.
Wins,
and Nut's still figuring out. I mean, we talked about earlier, which I mean that's just a testament to Darth Nutty's powers. But unfortunately, Cleaner, I gotta pick you, man. And it's really just because, and I was like, I don't want to do it, but if I'm being true to myself, I have to pick you. And it's just simply because you're wide receiver core. Like, I can't get.
Don't worry, Cleaner. We'll talk later.
I mean, we could talk too. Don't worry.
Jacoby Myers, baby. I'm fine.
Jacoby won.
Honestly, you know what? He probably is better for on the Raiders than Devontae was. So I'll give you that. But I'm just it's just the wide receivers, and I mean your team can carry you in other ways, but the other part, now that Javonte's gone, I just don't.
Javonte was not helping my team.
I know, but I would trust. I feel like I'm weird to say, but I feel like I'm trusting Javonte's situation more than the Cal or Rico Dowdle.
I say, we'll see with the old Dak on,
Well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I still have Chubb. We'll see what happens after the bye week. Start giving him more and more snaps. But I mean, I'm not gonna completely disagree with you, other than the fact that it's my team and I like it. Well, I mean, it's my team and I don't want that to be true.
Yeah, right.
So I think if you wanted to say me, I mean that's fine. I think there is a possibility, but I don't think it's gonna.
I think there's a strong possibility that we finish this season. It kind of reminds me of that year when I came back, when I made my comeback. Remember, Dylan? And it was Garrett and I in the last week. We had to face each other, and I beat him out by like a couple points it was like because we had a 7-7 record. I feel like there's a strong possibility this year because I feel like some of the teams that are in the top 8 are going to fall back a little bit. But I think some of the teams that are between the 8 and the 11 range, right, are going to move up. So the strong possibility is to be like 3 7-7 teams, maybe 4.
Yeah,
that's what happened to me last year. I think I barely edged out making the playoffs, and it was only from points against Mitch.
Yeah. Well, and also it's this year, and I don't know how you guys feel, but there's just like, I mean, we say it every year, but this year really feels like there's a lot of injuries, and so like how it affects our league. I don't think there's gonna be anybody going forward that's just like gonna be steamrolling and is unbeatable. Like
Unless you're, well, yeah, unless you're Trike until he
I don't
loses.
know. Yeah, I was
Basically.
gonna say Trike
no,
still looks.
I mean, but AJ Brown now is banged up. Like Drake
He was.
London got banged up in that last game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what?
but until Trike loses and doesn't score like over 95 points, I guess I can't
Yeah.
say anything. I can't say anything yet.
Well, he didn't score 95 points last week, so there
Oh,
you go.
sorry, he scored 94.9.
I'm not dogging Trike's team. My point is like I don't feel like anybody's like running away with it now with some of that happening. And who knows too? I mean, there could be some trades that are done, but like
Well,
I feel like there's like a foreshadowing, especially like we're talking about these Monday night games, and like there's been a lot of like it seems like there's more matchups this year that are coming down to like the last little bit. You know, I even just had that happen with Jaden, where me and him were coming down. Literally, it was like our last players were playing in the afternoon games, and it's like we're in the witching hour. It was truly the witching hour. I was like, this
Yeah,
is
it's a
do or
nail
die.
biter.
You know, it just seems like we're seeing a lot of that happen in our matchups, and I feel like it's setting us up for when the playoff push comes here.
and
That's
I
what
also
we're
wanted to
into it.
touch on the whole Nut thing. Yeah, I tend to agree with Nut, and the reason why is like Nuts had a couple tough breaks this year, but man, the fact that he's managed to stay up in the top 3 power rankings for so long with scoring so few touchdowns, like you got Trike up there with 57. I have 48. Like, and then Nut, you see a huge drop off to 40, but he's still averaging the fourth most points in the league, over 100 points per game, and he's
Yeah.
scoring only 40 touchdowns. Like Cal, Cal's at 48. Cleaner has 47 touchdowns, and he's averaging only 96 points. So it's crazy to me that, and this is why I say it with Nuts team every week, because man, the dude gets yards. Like his players just get so many yards. They don't get that many touchdowns, but they get so many yards. But who do we usually see dominate the league in points per game? Right? It's usually a team like Jesse in the previous years, where Josh Allen has 50 touchdowns himself. Like those are the teams you see dominate points per game and have really good scoring output. That's Trike this year, 57. Nut somehow is up there with 40 touchdowns. It's so crazy to me that because it's a lot of points. That's if you take it and you say position players, I have 8 more than him. That's 48 points that he's making up in just total yardage.
Yeah, he's got a lot of reliable dudes.
Yeah. I think the situations have definitely played well, and it's like that's Nuts MO, right? It's like he's savvy as far as picking people up off the waivers and then also just like the trades that he does. And I think that's also because Nut doesn't sleep and is sitting there in his cave at night. Just
you know what's funny about that, dude? Is last night, I didn't go to bed till like 1 o'clock or something like that. But I was literally up last night once the waivers went through, and I was adding people and stuff, right? And the first person to be reading my shit was Nut, and I was like, dude, it's like 4 o'clock. Like this man is up. Like he was the first person in there, like seeing all that stuff. Like Diz, I think he did something last night, and I was like, hell yeah, or something like that. And Nut was right there to read it, and I was like, it's fucking late over here, dude.
Yeah. Well, so okay, let's move it on to, and it should be a little easier maybe if you unless we want to really dive into it. But who wins the championship this year? And you can't pick yourself.
Whoa.
Damn.
I think Mike's got it.
Think so?
I think so.
Why?
He's just got so many hogs, dude. He's Baker Mayfield's #2 quarterback of the year.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry, he has fucking hog Henry. His receiving core is wild, man. It's like if they can stay healthy, assuming all his players stay healthy, fucking rolling AJ Brown out there. Drake London for some reason is actually good. This team is just so solid. There's like no weak points to it, I think. And I'm obviously a big Laporta believer, and he's getting more and more points every single week. maybe with Jamison Williams coming back, he'll be down, but I don't think so. I think Laporta is going to start hogging out again. I think it's just such a solid team. Pollard, it's not flashy, but very consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say if I was a betting man, I would take Trike, right? Because I think there is something to a little bit of like consistency and momentum in fantasy, even though, really it's fantasy, so there's a lot of luck that plays involved, but it means
Yeah.
that your players are being consistent, right? So they're in good positions in real life. And so if I was a bet man, I'd take Trike because the dude hasn't lost. He's been challenged. He lost to me, but I'm saying 8 straight weeks of not losing. So until he proves otherwise, I bet on Trike. Now, if I really want to look at somebody's team and be like, hey man, like this shit is like legit, I would take Cal, but I don't trust his fantasy repertoire as far as I can throw. Well, I guess I could throw him pretty far, but
Let's say CMC comes back and is the CMC of old.
Yeah,
see, that's the man.
That's
Like
the grand question, right?
But
What-
at the same time, I feel like even without CMC so far, like his team still should be his numbers. Yeah, he has a lot of points per game, but there's 2 or 3 weeks that highly inflated his numbers because a lot of his weeks he's been sub 90 points. And so it's just like Cal's team should have performed from the very get-go, right? Like he had a ton of money. He had a great keeper. Like this man should have been performing amazing at the beginning and he didn't. So I guess that's the problem. It's like the consistency plays a little bit of a factor into my decision making. So I go with Trike, and then in theory I would like Steven, but I think Trike would win it.
Dirty.
If you had asked me a week ago, I probably would have picked Mike. Because a week ago, the only real issues with his team were that Baker's his QB, and they lost Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. And, Mike's going to come back, but that was like the only real issue. And then after this week, AJ Brown got hurt. AJ Brown's going to miss so much time this year, and whatever.
AJ Brown's supposed to play this week, by the way.
He-
He's day to day.
Yeah, I think he's going to play this
He's
week.
day to day.
Because he's playing me, so of course I'm not going to be lucky.
I really want Devontae Smith to be the number one, but
here's my point: is his team over the last week gained a lot of question marks of consistency. Can they continue to play? Can they continue to produce? So I don't know that I would pick Trike, but I struggle picking someone that I would pick over him. And I think in an argument, I would probably pick Cal's team from a pure talent perspective.
Let's jerk off Christian a little bit.
But
nobody wants to, man. Like, this whole year, dog. Like, it was funny because I was like, when I was playing against COD, like, there was like 4 people in the chat just like, come on, baby, yeah. Like, Brandon was giving him a freaking play-by-play synopsis of the game,
Yeah, in my brain, you're up there for sure. I think if I didn't choose Mike, I probably would choose you, bud.
Yeah,
it's all right.
I think it's closer. I think it's closer than you think.
I love that saying.
It applies so well to so much of the shit. The obvious standout is Trike, like, right? But I also think you're talking about all the touchdowns that everything's got. Like, yes, he's got hogs, but there's always regression that comes. And if it's mainly,
we're still waiting for nuts, right?
You have to talk about who you're regressing. Are you going to say Derrick Henry is going to regress?
No. I wouldn't say Derrick Henry, but it could be like the Pollards of the world. It could be the Drake Londons. Who else? It could be Baker Mayfield. So
Boomer.
Yeah, I'm just saying Baker's never done this in his career. So does he finish like that? I mean, if that's the case,
he's getting his boy Muck Evans back.
So who would you pick?
But and I'm just like, I won't play devil's advocate. I was picking you to slide on out, buddy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No, and like, yes, Cal definitely has a good team, but it's funny because I remember him telling me earlier today. He's like, "Hey, when you go on the show, he's like, dude, you better make sure that you're talking about my team being better than Reds."
He is so gung ho on that, dude. I get a text every week about it.
If he had a better record, I would probably say Cal second.
Well, and so
like he has really good players. Like,
and I'll give you some love, Red. If I'm
Wow.
playing devil's advocate, and really it's just like who against Trike right now, like who can take on Trike and beat him. But yeah, Red. I think once you do get Mike Evans back, now you have Devontae Smith. George Pickens is like becoming a thing with Russell, and then Tyrone Tracy, Chuba. I mean, there's a lot of James Conner. I love James. He's part of the reason why I won a championship. And like, if Travis Etienne gets something actually going, but like, like all of it though combined, it's like you also have talent to be able to hang. And I think when you're looking at like the playoffs and stuff, it's much more than just the team itself. It's about the like setup and position that you have going into the playoffs. And so that's a huge thing for Cal right now, is that especially losing that last week, trying to keep pace with everybody that's going right now. He's gonna end up, if he ends up in the bottom part of like the top or bottom 4 when we're doing the flex seeding, then it's like you, Red, you're number 2 right now. So if you can hang on to that and you get to pick like a lesser team, and we'll see who squeaks in, because there's like one team that squeaks into the playoffs that you're like, I don't know how the hell they made it, but they're in there.
Right.
It's like I think that's going to play a huge role in it. So, Red,
Yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, like, sorry to interrupt, but
no,
like,
you're good.
Cal, let's say Cal squeaks in at 8, right? And then you have the top 4 gets to choose who they play, right? Is that how it works?
Correct.
Yeah.
So let's say it's how it is right now, and Brandon plays Cal. Okay, I'm going to assume that if Cal gets in the bottom 8, he's going to be the last person that is going to be picked, right? Do you think Brandon's team will beat Cal's?
I think it was just go based off.
The only people that have like a chance of beating Cal, I think, are like, I mean, I don't want to say not, but it's not Christian and fucking Mike.
Nobody wants to say no.
Well, no one wants to, but the dude's scoring so many points every week. You can't.
Yeah, I mean that's cool, but
one thing I learned, and it's maybe I learned a little bit later on, but one thing I learned from Gary Bonds back in the day was, I remember when he got a good cushion in the records and in the standings, he would start priming his like position players and like his defenses and his kickers for the playoffs. And so he would go in with like green matchups on the board for every single week, right?
Yeah. And
it was like maybe you weren't even starting like your number 1 defense, because you picked up a different defense that's facing like the worst team in the world week 15 or something, And so I guess it would have to go down. And I was just kind of looking at Calvin's week 15, because that'll be the first week of the playoffs. And he doesn't have the best matchups. He does have Bijan against the Raiders, which is real juicy, but everybody else is playing against a pretty tough opponent. So there's a possibility where, depending on, say, Chief or something like that, or say COD, say they have better matchups, that they could beat them.
Yeah. No, it's true.
A player off the top of my head that has a really good playoff matchup? Zamir White.
Hey, could be your saving grace right there.
Are you riding him the rest of the year, bud? I feel like I'll be disappointed if I don't see Zamir White in that flex spot the rest of the year.
I mean,
baby.
Oh,
you gotta lose, man. You already sold off the team with old James Cook. Just come on, man. Let's ride him out.
You got Chase Brown back. It's not like some scrub. Like, trust me.
I'm not saying that, but flex spot, man.
Yeah, don't listen to that. Diz play. That's like
the people want Zamir White.
If you literally started Zamir, if you did, I don't think Diz would do that. But if he did, I would probably still reach out to you on Sunday. I'd be like, hey, dude, probably switch that back.
Yeah. You'd be like, is everything okay, dude? Are you all right?
I was just joking. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, and for the record, by the way, I do think actually that Calvin has a better team than you, Red, just pure talent wise. I just think that the way the schedule could shake out.
But to that point, right?
No, I don't want to dive back into it. Final point.
No, I just want to say, Pudley just talked about it, how he was talking about how he's outscoring me wide receiver wise, and he named off the list of my wide receivers versus his. And he said, you would never get in any given day, say I would be scoring more points wide receiver wise per week than Red. But he's like, it's just how it's shaking out, Yeah. So you could have better people on paper, but guess what? This ain't Madden.
Exactly. So flip it over. Who wins the Sacco? Who's taking that toilet seat home with them? I know a lot of good choices in here.
Oh yeah.
It's really between 3 people for me at this point now. After what's transpired.
I'm sorry, Gabi, but I'm gonna have to go with Gabi.
Yeah.
Good pick,
I hate
Alex.
saying it. I don't like seeing Gabi down there. I know other people do, but yeah, it's not looking pretty.
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty all-year Gabi, and I love it.
I think, and if Gabi's correct on this, if Pacheco comes back, I'm taking Diz to get Sacco.
You fuck.
If Pacheco comes back, which also, oddly enough, or coincidentally enough, Diz just picked up another Chiefs running back, old Samaje Perine, while we're in the middle of this.
Yeah.
So now he's owned every single Chief running back.
Oh, you gotta go get Carson Steele. Don't forget about Steele.
Oh yeah, Carson Steele. He's a free agent?
Yeah.
You probably got a spot open. You probably got a spot open. But what I'm saying, like with Gabi, like yeah, he needs to. If he can somehow consolidate those running backs, because none of them really tickle my fancy, right? But if he could potentially make a move by the end of tomorrow, and just to make himself not get the Sacco, right? And if that's the case, and Pacheco comes back, I think I would take his team over Diz at that point. But right now, if Pacheco doesn't come back, then definitely I'm taking Gabi. Because Pacheco's was considered possibly a league winner at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
I remember. That's why I put him on my team.
Yeah. What if he comes back and faces you in the Sacco Bowl, dude, and takes you out?
Yeah, that's a little bit too poetic.
Chief running back, and you drafted him, and it's Gabi.
Okay, Red, I get it.
I do like that narrative though. That
sounds horrendous.
Crack. Dirtle, who you got down there?
Globby. Absolutely. Actually, hold on one second. What about Papa J Bear?
I was looking at Jaden's squad.
Jaden, dude. It's funny because remember at the beginning of the year, what'd you guys say? Who would you guys take over AJ Brown?
Terry McLaurin.
No, that's Diz right now. But at the beginning of the year, Diz and Dill were on my ass about who would they take over AJ Brown. Say it again.
Marvin Harrison.
Oh, Marvin.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the year, I remember that, and it was funny because Pudley, old Nut was talking about it, and I just thought about that. I'm like, dude, yeah, he honestly looks bad. Like he does not look that good.
No.
Yeah, it's weird. For like all the talk that they said, like when he came into training camp, they're like, man, this guy's like a professional already. The way he carries himself, like he's got a presence about him. And you're watching him now play on the field. It's like, yeah, he's being lazy out there. There's like some plays where you like run a sloppy route or whatever. And it's like, which I don't know. I heard this thing like where, and I think Nut was talking about it too. Where it's like the way Kyler's play style is and how that offense just, it's like very Wild West in a way. That's not really like Marv's game. And so Marv would be so much better with like a pocket passer, a true pocket passer.
Well, what's funny? You know what's funny about that? Because if you watch that Chiefs game and they were talking about it, and Andy Reid told DeAndre Hopkins when he first got there, he said, if you run your route and you're not getting the ball immediately, keep running. Because he said Patrick Mahomes, all he'll do, he'll never give up on the play, and you just need to keep moving, and he'll get to you. And I think it's the same thing with Kyler, but I don't think that's what Marvin Harrison. That's like not his game. Like he's not like a.
Well, they also have Andy Reid coaching him out there.
Well, I'm just saying, but that's kind of the same thing. Kyler always has to move out of the pocket, and that's why a lot of the times, Rondale Moore, dude. He had like a 90% catch rate because he was just running around out there, and Kyler would just toss it down the field, and there's old Rondale.
Well, yeah, but also Rondale was only catching like 3 yards per catch. It was he was getting dumpies like all the time.
It doesn't matter, but he also broke out for big plays. There's a reason why you guys liked him.
Hell yeah, he did. Rondale, baby.
I have
So-
some poetry for you. If me and Gabi are favorites for the Sacco Bowl, some poetry that would maybe go in my favor would be that Pacheco doesn't come back, so I traded him to Gabi for he gets nothing. I take his player, Jordan Addison, who plays Green Bay in week 17. Last time they played, he scored almost 20 points on Green Bay.
It's a walk.
It's a lock. Sign me up.
Yeah,
Take it.
you could also have old Kareem Hunt teach him a lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So for me, I think, I mean, yeah, I'll play devil's advocate again. I won't make it too like obvious, but yeah, I think. Well, and honestly, actually, I do feel this way. I think you have the worst team in the league right now, but which I mean, yeah,
Dylan's like, I contributed that today.
that's not. If anything, I bailed him out. Freaking, he has cash at least again and a freaking keeper. Otherwise, getting taught. But anyways,
He'll have a little more cash. Don't worry.
yeah, I mean, it's just like it's between you and Jaden, honestly, and like,
Oh, nice.
well, and it's like Jaden's got some hogs, right? But I don't. Jaden Daniels and Joe Mixon can carry, but we're talking about Marvin. Yeah, he's not looking good at all.
I'm
And then-
super biased about that too because Marvin Harrison, the name, is the reason why I didn't get Amon Ra.
Yeah,
And,
and well,
so
and
fuck that guy.
then, yeah, he's quickly becoming the enemy of the DVFFL. But yeah, dude, it's just like with Jaden's running back too. Still, like God, I mean, Algier, if you're gonna do it, I guess that's one of the guys that is like, sure, he's better than Ugumbwale or whatever. But like, I don't like Jalen Waddle, and it's just there's not really much behind it. I mean, so
Yeah, and he's
if you-
slotting in that Jalen Warren. Is that like his actual flex? Yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
But
I don't
then-
know, man. Maybe.
yeah, but then
Well,
you
dude, the Pittsburgh's freaking running backs have a dog shit schedule. So like, he's not gonna. That's the.
yeah, they do.
And I've barked about this quite a bit, you know, and I just thought Jaden should have made a move for RB2 so long ago. His season would be so different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
he could be up
He
in the
could have.
playoff bracket right now.
He
He-
literally could have like
he
I
he
just-
was almost on the trigger of talking to me about it, but Marvin Harrison, he dislikes that man, I guess.
Well, and it's just like there's like sometimes, I mean, it's tough to do in fantasy, but it's when you got to bite the bullet and like sell off a hog. You really don't want to, but it's like you're looking at your team, you're like, God damn, I need some depth, or I need like, that's how my season started. I didn't have an RB2. It's like I'm not gonna make it. There's not a chance I'll make it if I don't figure this out. And then you gotta sacrifice somebody.
kind of like old nut, with AJ Brown,
Yeah, no, with AJ Brown, it's
like
just.
he got rid of AJ Brown, but he used that cash to go get Ayuk.
But if we flip it over to the flip side, I mean, to be real, yeah, I'm looking at Dirty's team right now, and it's just, dude, if that Pacheco does come back, what does Kareem Hunt become?
Kareem Hunt becomes nothing, and Zamir enters the picture.
Yeah.
We're rocking Ridley, Jordan Addison, sure, but I go look at the bench too, and it's like, yeah.
Teasers in there.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a couple of guys I throw by flex on a bye week or something, but like, I don't know. So we'll see, because I don't think it's, and Gabi's definitely down there. It's just like there's still a lot of season left to be played, whether it be injuries or fucking bad schedules or whatever it may be. But yeah, honestly, I've gotta go. I gotta go. You Dirty.
But I also, this is one thing I'll say with the old Dirtmeister here, is that I had a hard time with the whole Calvin Ridley thing. I didn't really want to trade him because he has a fucking chef's kiss freaking end of season schedule. Like it's literally
about it.
like
Mhm.
it's like, so if he has to go down to if he goes to the constellation, right? Like that's just like I just love it. And so he has some bright spots, right? Like
Yeah.
so there is a possibility where maybe he doesn't have the name value, but he has like the matchups that he can play. So
All that matters, whether you're in the playoffs or in the consolation, it's just do whatever you can to survive. And
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw that any more true than Nut in that championship last year, rocking. I don't remember the name of the QB that he had in there.
Nick Mullins.
Was it Mullins?
I
It
think
was
it was
like,
Mullins.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
like,
I don't want to talk
Jesus.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, oops.
Sorry, Queen. Forgot who our guest was. All right, let's move on. We'll wrap it up here. Let's do our pick'ems. So, got the records finally figured out. Diz, you were 24-12. Pretty good.
Hell yeah, dude. You know what I'm talking about.
I am 19-17. So, you really don't want me picking your team. And then, Red, you are an impressive 29-13 on the season.
Dang.
And then, for context, Trike was 4-2. So I also realized that we all picked the same damn people last week.
Well, yeah, it was.
Kind of like chalk, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's dive into it. So
What was C then?
let me look in the notes. Go ahead, start picking the. I guess we'll start
What's the
with
first one you got there, Diz?
Well, Dirty
Me?
Diner.
Oh, we
Well,
got
cousin.
we got all dirty.
Look at me sitting with a winning percentage right here. I love that. It's been weeks since that happened.
Yeah, you never know, dude. Like, it could just be like, there's a lot of fucking bye weeks coming up. So there's a strong possibility, Diz. Like, yeah, maybe you don't have like the best team anymore, that you thought you had, but you could easily, maybe some of these players teams you face end up being on a shit ton of bye weeks and you pull it out.
I've studied my situation deeply. I agree with you.
Calvin went 4-2.
Okay, so guess right now are what, 8-4?
Yeah, 8-4.
Nice, not too bad.
That's
all right,
better.
so we got started out. We got Dirty's Diner versus Patty's Reach Arounds. So Diz versus Trone here, a little cousin on cousin. Diz has an 86.5 start accuracy, and Trone still has bottom of the barrel 76.6% accuracy when he comes to starting players. Dirty's also averaging a little over 90 points. Trone's averaging a little over 85.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Trone's team.
You fucker, dude.
Yeah,
What
sorry,
if
buddy.
what if CMC comes back? What's gonna happen to Mason? And he's
I
not
think
gonna.
he has to start Mason because he has nobody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, but let's be real about it. They're not going to just go and then be like, all right, CMC, carry the ball 30 times.
No, right. But now Jordan Mason is getting half the opportunity, or maybe like.
I don't even think it'll be half. I think CMC will only be put in there for like goal line packages and stuff. I think what they're going to do is they're going to pound the rock with Mason to get down there, and then when they get down there, it's like, all right, CMC, you're the. Get in there.
Okay, but still, that devalues Mason a lot because he has a lot of touchdowns.
I know, but I mean, not to break down Dirty's team again, but after I just went through it, like the rest of the players, though, I'm still stacking up, and I just think that I've been pounding the table all year. That Toronto actually has a good team, just has been starting the wrong guys, and probably should have made a trade or two.
Diz, are you going to start that Goddard or are you going to start that Hunter Henry?
I actually just saw today that fucking Goddard's finally back at practice. He's healthy. It's been weeks and that man's just been out.
That Teddy Two Shoes is feasting right now too.
I fucking love that matchup of them playing the Cowboys too, so I'll probably play him.
Okay, so I'm taking Diz this week. As long as Kareem Hunt's carrying the torch, dude, that man's just a walking touchdown machine. And they're going to play against, and so I wish you really had that Drake May though. That would put you over the top.
I tried. Fucking Chandler beat me to him.
So I'm going to take Diz this week, and I'm just going to do it until Trone proves otherwise, man. Like, this dude is on a historic losing streak right now, and like I said, I'm just going to go with the consistency. If Trone puts up a lot of points this week, which he hasn't done that often. Maybe he wins, but I'm going to go with Diz here just because Trone needs to show me that he can win first.
Yeah, prove it.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I don't have a good feeling about just the CMC in general or just Jordan Mason in general. A-Chain's looking good, especially against the Rams. But I think Diz had like Peyton's team has an opportunity to pop off, right? But Diz, you got right now some consistent running backs, um, consistent wide receivers. I'm and plus Gators unite.
Yo,
Hell
Gator.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Dizzy on this one.
Good
All
fucking
right.
pick. Like, you're a smart dude.
Well, don't worry, Diz. Whoever I pick, they lose. So
Yeah.
there you
I
go.
was gonna say
Thank
you don't
you.
want
I'm
Dylan to pick your team.
You know,
All
I
right.
barely
This is a
survived.
juicy matchup right here.
Yes. Okay. So Big Fog versus the B Robs. Damn, Calvin has 91.2% accuracy.
It's because he didn't have a bench, dude. He didn't have anybody else to start.
I think he did. I don't
No,
know what
he-
you were looking at. He
What are
did.
you talking about?
Well, anyways, you're at 87.8% too, Big Fog. So you're not anybody to shy from either. So who do you guys got on this one?
I mean, just on paper, Cal's team looks so good. I have to go with Cal.
I'm picking
And it's
Fog.
not anything against anything. It's nothing against the Big Fog. It's just, I don't know. If you would play the game right now, it's too good.
I'm looking at one specific matchup in this whole thing, and Tyrone Tracy playing against the Panthers. That's gonna be a fucking wetter. So I'm picking.
A wetter. It might be too, because it's in Munich, so you never know. It rains a lot there in Germany.
Wait, does
There
he
you
still
go.
have Tank
Hey,
Bixby
Big
as his
Dick.
RB2?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Oh, I'm surprised he hasn't
McCaffrey
picked it.
hasn't been added to the active roster yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
He's
Right.
just got his practice window open.
Yeah.
Tank Bixby. I guess that's the big negative, but I'm still gonna go with Cal on this one.
I think that's
That wide
super-
receiving cores is so juicy, dude. You don't know what's gonna happen with that.
Yeah, actually it's pretty much even for me. But the matchup that really fucks this whole thing up, and I don't think Christian McCaffrey is going to go out there and just, take over or anything. So I think with that Tank Bigsby, not only is he a little banged up, but he's also playing against Minnesota's defense. And I mean, the Jags are just bad.
And
So
he's still a backup, right?
yeah, that's the grand question with them. But
It's a 1A to 1B type thing, essentially.
it's
And-
like,
Right. It's split backfield is what I meant.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
ETN's first game back after the hamstring thing for like 3 weeks. So they literally said the game plan was to have him on a snap count. So
yeah, it's definitely split. But yeah, Cal, like I said, very close. But I just think with that one matchup, if it gives you a slight disadvantage, then I'm gonna go with the other guy. So I agree with what Diz said. That's a great matchup for Tracy, and I think he will eat there. And so yeah, Red's got enough green matchups too to keep pace. So I'm going Red.
I also forgot to point out the fact that the Eagles are probably gonna demolish the Cowboys this weekend. So
Did you know
Sorry.
that the last time Cooper Rush played against the Eagles, he won?
did you
it's
know,
written in stone.
you know that the Cowboys defense is pretty abysmal?
This was 2 years ago before it became really good.
I know they're very different now. Moving on.
Yeah, don't get me going. We do suck though.
I can't wait for us to really analyze the Raiders D versus Cowboys D bet at the end of the year.
Wait,
Dirtiest bet.
Cleaner, were you going Calvin or?
I'm going Calvin on this one.
Yeah, right. Okay. And Diz was red. All right, perfect. All right. Tuggernauts versus Shares Are Up. TD Incorporated. Told you guys to buy into the stocks, and apparently we were all sleeping on that. Especially Calvin. Man. Yeah. Hold on, I got pulled up here.
I'm taking dude, if that Nico doesn't play, I'm taking TD Inc, baby.
Shares continue to rise.
The shares continue to rise. So
Barkley playing the Cowboys. That's very juicy for Mr. Barkley there.
That is very juicy. But DeAndre Swift's playing against the goddamn Patriots, and they can't stop nosebleeds.
Oh, that's true too.
They're
Yeah.
so bad.
This is tougher than you think.
Closer than you think too.
Yeah.
Both guys are. I mean, Jesus, yeah. Let's see, Tuggernaut's 89% accuracy, and
Just
the
a lot of bye weeks this week.
Oh yeah, Jesse's getting raped.
Yeah, got all his hogs going.
He has to throw in Dingles. Ooh, that's rough.
mhm.
Throwing the backup in your flex. Honestly, in that situation, I might just go pick up someone off the waiver. Just fucking put a flyer out there.
Yeah, I think yeah. Any other week, I'd probably go with Hess, but I think I'm going with the TD Inc. Shares keep on rising right now.
I'm going-
I think I'm gonna do the same thing, and I think this is the first time I bought in all year. So congrats, Shelmer.
Yeah, you sold all your shares, now you're getting back in.
Yeah, buy back
Yeah.
at a lower cost. Okay, so I'm gonna go Brian as well. And I think it's just because, like, I like his hog matchups. I mean, I like Barkley a lot, but like the Dingle and the Fryermuth and all that, I'm not feeling it. I just like the other guys matched up across him. Plus, that dude, I like that Neighbors and Hopkins too. Man,
You guys are missing the sleeper, the old Tomcat, baby.
yeah, you got Tomcat in there, gambling Pud.
Yeah. I didn't even know he changed his name to that. Damn.
Gambling Pud, I like that.
That's good.
He's everything, Pud.
Red, who you taking?
I was the first to
Oh,
put my shares in on TV.
everyone's bought back in. Look at that, just straight up on the graph there, man. All right, TD Incorporated rises. Wow, and the last two matchups were big. If we're predicting right, so Calvin loses again, drops even further, and now you got TD Inc. creeping up into the 5-5 time. And Jesse being 5-5. Very interesting. Yeah.
See.
All right. So next, Emperor Nut Patine and the MAGA slut. I'm slutting out right now.
I literally think 8 of my losses this year, or 8 of my wrong predictions this year, have been the Nut because I've just been always picking against them because I really don't want them to win.
Yeah, I feel that.
And this week it's gonna be no different. Taking MAGA slut. Yeah, and he's just riding high right now. He's got to suck me outside, and he's got freaking Trump as president. This man, nothing can stop him right now.
I'm taking MAGA slut too. Dude, his matchups look way better than Nuts.
And I wholeheartedly agree with Cleaner on this. That Javonte Williams is fucking ass.
Well,
And it was funny
And he's
because
playing the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and last week, Cleaner, he literally got on the 1 yard line and got
Yeah.
stuffed.
Happens every time, man. That having that guy on your team is cancer watching him play. I hate it. Yeah. I mean, it's so hard to choose against Nut because you know he's gonna pull points out of his fucking asshole. But
Loaded.
I'm gonna go with Johnson on this one.
Okay.
My prediction for him creeping out of the playoffs becomes more and more stupid as I continue to think about it. Sorry, Brandon. I didn't mean it.
My prediction of Nuts slipping out gets better.
You predicted me to slip out, bitch.
Well, I picked a couple of you guys.
If I go out of the playoffs, Nut better be coming out with me.
What? It's gonna be like a yo-yo. Once you guys
Yeah,
are there, just yee. I could be in it. Who knows?
Who you taking, Diz?
I'm gonna go MAGA slut, but I'll say this: Brock Purdy playing against Tampa Bay, and CJ Stroud playing against Detroit. I think two things. I think the Lions are going to shut down the Texans and fucking embarrass them on Sunday Night Football. And I think Purdy thrown against that Tampa Bay secondary that's just horrendous. I feel like in their matchup, that could be the game changer within it all.
Juicy.
All right.
Well,
All
I
right.
think B. John's matchups more, but that could be the reason that B. John's lose.
Okay. So who you picking then?
B. John's MAGA slut.
right.
I mean,
Mine.
if Purdy pops off, who do you think he's gonna pop off with? I would say probably with Kittle.
I mean, Kittle's only scored like a touchdown every week for the last 5 weeks or something like
Yeah, so I think that balances it.
What about
out.
Jawan Jennings, dude?
that. Yeah.
He plays, hell yeah, dude. I like that.
At least a couple touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
All right.
Surprised he's gonna ride that Cade Otton against the Niners, D.
Dude, you can't. How can you
What?
not, dude?
Yeah,
The guy's
why would
Cade
you
Otton-
take him? Who are you gonna go put in there?
he's-
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't
Cade
like
Otton
it.
is probably like a top 5 tight end.
Maybe
Yeah,
I can
he's
sell
been
Hunter
sick
Henry.
without.
Line.
Well, yeah,
What?
without anybody else to throw to, dude.
Yeah.
He has nobody to throw to. He literally just that game. It was just dump off to Bucky Irving, throw to freaking Otton over and over again.
So when
Yeah.
Evans come back, we'll see. But right now, Cade Otton is the tight
Yeah,
end
he's
to
just a
have.
hog. Yeah,
Tight ends are such a wasteland. Just throw them in there and just let it ride.
holy shit. Okay, we're almost at 2 hours here, boys.
I know. Yeah. Let's
Hell
move
yeah.
on.
An orgy
This is
time.
I realize with the guests now, this is just gonna be our life because it's just more rambling. We can't stop. Why don't I get a ramble on this one? There you go.
Shut him down.
Oh,
We have the big man 3OD versus the dirty roach mongers.
Dirty.
Smoking roaches.
Who's your tight end? Who's this guy?
Panthers.
There wasn't a lot to pick from out there. I thought about getting conked,
Jatavian
but
Sanders? Who is that?
No
these are
Jacobs
rookies.
have to rock Brandon Allen in your flex. Is that really what you're gonna do? Yeah, you don't got
Got
much
Ian
choice.
Cook
Huh?
now. He's got the
You don't want
cannibal.
that. What about that Wandale, baby?
Yeah, we'll see about. I might throw in Wandale.
What's it? Wandale? Fuck that guy.
What do you mean, fuck that guy?
Yeah,
Just-
yeah, no, he's a cool guy. I'm jealous about how cool he is.
Let me throw him in there right now, just because you said that.
Okay.
He averaged dude, Wandale's average depth of target though is like 2 yards. Like,
I know. It's like
they don't throw the ball to him unless he's at the line of scrimmage.
So I'm going COD, and I think mainly because of the narrative that I like so much that Tyreek Hill asks all year except one game. Dill gets rid of him. He comes back. He'll finally make his emergence again, and it will be against his original father. I just like that narrative too much.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Plus,
think-
you got Jamar Chase, Gibbs. I love Gibbs. Cody, give me Gibbs. I mean, you got Brees and Cook looking nice. You got Cup. You know, I like me some Cup. CD, who fucking against the Eagles. Yeah, I'm going.
I think
COD.
yeah, I'm gonna go with COD, and yeah, there's a couple narratives going here, Dylan. Freaking old Jamar Chase comes back to haunt you from the past. Tyreek Hill comes and teaches you from the previous weeks. Not having him on your team anymore. You used to be a Chargers fan, and now they're going to teach you against Tennessee. Going really deep back in history here, but
It's gonna
No.
hurt on so many levels for Dill.
I think go Kyler Murray though against those Jets, man. Like that could be just the slugfest where they're just going to be running the rock the whole time. And it's just going to kind of, I don't know. Like CJ Stroud looked like a little baby against the Jets last week.
Well, Kyler Murray just sucks in general. If he doesn't get a magical 40-yard run TD, then he gets 8 points.
Yeah, Dylan. At the end of the year, I think you look back and you're like, why did I ever get rid of Josh Allen?
no comment.
Hey man, I have plenty of those kind of trades.
Dill, even though you picked against me, I'm picking your team.
Hell yeah.
Better
That's
matchups.
loyalty.
I like the players more. That's all you get from me.
Yeah, I like your
All
picture
right.
more. I like the
Yeah, that
corn
is cool.
dog.
He gets a couple
Yeah, I was gonna
points
say
for
what about a
that.
horn dog picture?
I
you like
fucking
corn
do that,
dog.
thing, dude.
Yeah, you did.
And there's also
Because you're a horn dog.
I'll just say my team might look different by then too. Who knows?
Okay, there we
Maybe a lot
go.
of these teams
No,
look
that's
different.
my team.
All right,
All
now
right, that's fair. I'll take on COD though. I mean, COD, you know what it is.
all right.
Moving
No,
on.
I just realized that no work will be done tomorrow. There's going to be everybody's going to be on their phones just with trades.
Oh yeah, I remember last year I literally didn't do a single thing at work. I texted probably 200 text messages that day.
All right, we
Which
got
sucks 'cause I have no
The
time.
3 World War Machine against the Will C's. Oh,
Big matchup, Cleaner.
right to the buzzsaw, Cleaner.
Yeah.
Off with his head.
For all the reasons why you picked Trike to win the ship earlier with me is the reasons why he wins this week against you, Cleaner. Sorry, bud.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, I'll be able to pick a trike, dude. It's just,
I will say
and I'm
this,
looking
though.
at your team, Cleaner. I'm looking at it.
No,
It's just-
yeah. This is gonna be a tough one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility, right? It's like if
Any given Sunday.
Lamar, I mean, you never know with the Lamar, and it's like maybe with Rico out there, no Cooper or with Cooper Rush, it's like maybe they just try to run the ball, but it's also against Philadelphia and they just stuff us.
Oh,
Yeah.
and by the way, Cleaner, just so you don't get in trouble with Nostradamus here, you need to move Jonathan Brooks out of your IR spot. Put Isaiah Likely there. Swap those two.
Oh, yes, I meant to do that. Thank you. Yeah, this is I don't disagree with everything.
Well, yeah, you have really
It is.
good, your matchups are tough this week. Like
Yeah.
Tough matchups.
this is one of those weeks where it's gonna come down to Lamar and Kyron just freaking.
I mean, if I'm gonna get all my fucking guys have bad matchups and I'm probably gonna lose, I might as well do it to the number 1 fucking seed because everything after this is smooth sailing pretty much. So
Yeah,
but I'd also
like give
you
me
to
my
be
L, just let me score a good amount of points.
right.
Okay.
not choosing you, Cleaner,
But
but
you
I
watch
want you
out,
to be Trike.
I'm a sneaky boy.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen with me. I could do
I'm
something
Creep
else.
around.
Creeping around.
Yeah, get horn
Get a little
dog.
naughty, I don't know.
Little horn dog in the cemetery there, Gettysburg.
Diz, your pick.
I'm picking Trike.
Do it. Damn it. Not even
Sorry.
for Gators Unite? That's okay.
I would, but it's
I
a
want
tough
my
matchup.
Gator
I
to
don't
be
like.
honest with me.
Yeah, this Sam Darnold playing against Jacksonville. Don't like that. Don't like the King playing against the Bengals. Those are scary.
You think King
Yeah.
playing against Bengals is scary?
No, he's saying he doesn't like it for Cleaner.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. Don't get me started now.
I'm getting flustered.
Get me upset.
Oh, this is the dirtiest matchup of the week.
Yeah,
We have
there we go.
Hey, the swappiest. All right, so the Jaden versus those Globbies Gooners.
He's in his house. He's like, "Ooh, my team's so bad."
That is totally Gobby this year. Dude, my team's bad. We didn't play for the first 4 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, sure. He's gonna play this whole season, those first 3 weeks. Like,
Yeah, just getting married really fucked him up, I guess. Just kidding, Gobby. Love you, but fuck you at the same time.
I think I am going with Gabi on this one.
ooh.
It feels weird to say. I mean, like once you get past Jaden Daniels and Joe Mixon, it's just I
Like,
mean,
what are we doing?
Mark Andrews, okay, cool, but yeah.
Well,
And then like Gabi doesn't have anyone particularly cool. I hate Najee. I think Calvin got the best games that Najee's ever gonna have for the rest of the year. But it's better than fucking Tyler Algier for sure.
Mm. Okay.
And Rashad White, you don't know. Maybe he's one of those guys who's gonna get 1 point, or he's gonna get 15 points. Jalen Warren's gonna get you 1 point. Wildly. So, I don't know. It's just this is such a dirty matchup to
it's
look at.
super. Think about this. Whoever wins this game either ends a 5-game losing streak or a 4-game losing streak.
Wow, that is dirty. They should get tested.
As a bottom feeder,
I
like
think-
these other teams, I actually really want Gabi to win because then we just have 2 teams sitting at the bottom with a 2-8 record.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. See, Diz is thinking further ahead. He's thinking macro, not micro.
I think if either Waddle or Marvin Harrison pop off, because Joe Mixon and Jaden Daniels will probably pop off. Well, Joe Mixon gets Detroit. That's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with Gabi.
Yeah, I might take Gabi on this one too. Like, dude, freaking the one thing that Chicago is pretty dog shit at, and we just saw it last week, is the running game. So Ramondre might actually have a feisty game here. Like, they just gave up like 200 rushing yards to fucking Trey Benson and DeMercado and James Conner. Like, there's a strong possibility that's I think, I don't know, fucking dude, Kansas City for, Courtland Sutton. Like, what are they going to do? The only thing they're going to be able to do is pass. Like, they're not going to run the ball with fucking Javonte.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going Gabi then?
I'm taking Gabi. I think I think it's just a dirty matchup. And
That it is.
Pretty much.
Clean up aisle 5. Let's go, Cleaner.
I'm on it.
I am also taking Gabi.
wow, who would have thunk that
And so
at one
for all
point
the
of the year
same
we'd
reason-
have a clean sweep of a Globby?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's, I mean, holy crap. Mark it down in the history books right now.
Literally,
Normally I
holy
pick-
crap! Because remember, Globby is just goblin crap.
Well, yes.
I actually didn't know that.
And half the time I pick Gabi just because fuck him. But this time around, they both have tough matchups, but really it's like when you're looking at the Hogs, Jaden Daniels, Joe Mixon are playing, like Joe Mixon against Detroit. I think last time I checked, they were like the number 1 run defense. Jaden Daniels against Pittsburgh, that's a tough one. Dude, Marvin's not going to do anything out there against Sauce Gardner. He's going to get shut down. So I think with like what you're talking about with Ramondre, Najee's going to, I think that could actually be a high scoring side for like the Steelers in a sense against Washington. And I think they'll put up some points at Washington, but that'll be better for like his Najee there. And then the Brian Thomas and low key Rashad White. Because I think like with Baker actually being the dog he is, they're going to be playing catch up most of that game. And Rashad White just gets receiving yards. He was doing the last game. He looks a little bit better. So nasty matchup, but I guess I'm going Gabi. Fuck you, Gabi. Also, Jaden. Make a trade, especially with me.
Yeah, this could be the only week that we actually pick Gabi's team to win. So
Yeah. So there you go, boys. Week 10. Here we go. Make that playoff push. Definitely be on your A game tomorrow because there's gonna be a lot of trades. I'm sure being circulated.
Yes. Do not. I repeat, do not ghost tomorrow. This is coming from a ghost or a free user. Do not ghost tomorrow.
Yeah,
Like,
but
this is like a day in your calendar. It's kind of like Christmas or Thanksgiving. You mark it on your calendar every year and you say, I'm not going to do shit today. Like, I'm just going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, in years past, and if a little DBFFO history for you guys, it's like usually, which you were around for 2 years now, but there's like big fireworks that can happen. But anyways, just remember everybody, it's before kickoff there, like Nut said, technically it'll let you do it afterwards, but we will definitely reject that shit and shit on you for it. So, and also be mindful too about how much money you are spending if you have pending bets out there. Just throwing out there because
Yeah, Dirtle, don't bet like $50.
No more Raider bets, buddy.
yeah, no more Raider bets, buddy.
I'm betting $25 in the Raiders this week.
yeah, I'd like to say I've learned my lesson, but I haven't. So another one.
Good. I don't want you to learn that lesson. I've
Yeah,
got a lot of money from.
Yeah, trust me, dude. Trading for Kyler Murray, still haven't learned that lesson, buddy. So, but yeah, with that being said, Cleaner, thanks for coming on and cleaning up the show for us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was good that time. Boys, week 10, pound that pud real hard. 'Cause we're
Thanks for
pushing.
tuning in, everyone.
All right.
Bye, friends.